Okay, everybody, welcome to challenge number 8, the last challenge of the Summer Challenge Series. So happy that all of you are here this morning. This is a short and sweet webinar, kind of probably the shortest one in this series. We're just going to talk about getting ready to go to a crop. So all of the work that you've done over the last 8 weeks and how that's going to help you be more efficient and more effective at a crop and make it easier to pack and go to a crop. So let's jump right in with this week's winner, who is Beverly Timon. And she just did a beautiful job cataloging her colors, and she made a form on Excel, so congratulations, Beverly. Printed them double-sided. Some colors needed 2 sheets, she says. So there was a great picture that she posted on the Facebook group. It's there. And then she also has a blog. You can kind of see it in the picture. But she posted more details about how she actually did this. And I think there was even a link to a download for the Excel spreadsheet that she used right on her blog. So if you get a chance, you can check out Beverly's blog at scrapandthread.blogspot.com. She's got some gorgeous projects on there as well. So not only is she getting organized, she does beautiful work, and so you can see her work on the blog, on her blog as well. So congratulations, Beverly. Now let's go ahead and get started. So first thing we want to do, now normally it's gather, right? So this is kind of goofy. Almost always I start with the word gather, but this time we're going to start with goal, another G word, another one of my favorite G words. What do you want to get done at the crop? Do you want to get a lot done? Are you, sorry, I had to pause for a drink there. No, I can't read my screen because my little, there we go. Are you ready for some serious social time without your kids? Are you looking forward to casual shopping? Do you want to learn 10 new techniques? Set your goal before you make any other decisions. And this is really important. And I'm going to say, just like I always say about goals, you need to write it down. What is your goal at the crop, right? And it's okay to have any one of these things as your goal or even something different. We all go to crops for different reasons. Some people go to crops specifically to get things done because they can't get anything done at home for, you know, whatever the reason is, busy kids, busy life, whatever. Some people don't have time to be social at home or go shopping. I know for me, I have 2 boys, and they deplore shopping. So being able to just wander around the scrapbook convention and not, you know, have to be in any kind of hurry or listen to anybody complain that they're hungry or they're bored or whatever is really a nice part of the whole experience. But before you go to a crop, you want to kind of, what am I going to do? What are my goals? Because you want to feel like when you're finished with the crop that you've accomplished whatever it was you set out. So whether it's social time or productivity, what's the goal before you go? And write it down so you know what you're doing, what you want to do. Then you're going to prepare for that crop or class or event that you're going to. And so as I travel around the country, it's obvious to me that people who take the most stuff get the least done. So if your goal is, whatever your goal is to accomplish, you want to be able to take just what you need to get those things done, because it will really help you stay focused and reach your productivity goal, if that's what we're going to call it. So don't overtake. You can take a little bit extra just in case by some stroke of great luck you actually power through everything that you thought you were going to get done. You have a little bit extra to do. But the more you take, the more distracted you'll be. So really, you really want to stay focused on what you're taking and take what you can literally accomplish, so that when you're done, you feel like you actually accomplished it, and you go home not only, you know, having a good time, but also having that little burst of dopamine in your brain that says, wow, I rock, I'm so good, I was really successful at this. So don't take too much stuff. Then here's the gather word. So after you've decided on your goals and you've thought about maybe not taking too much stuff, then you're going to start gathering things together. And the first thing you need to gather before you go to a crop is information. So you have to have some basic information. What's being provided by the crop host, right? You don't want to duplicate what's already there. You want to bring things that are unique and useful and that you don't have to carry extra stuff. So, and then what are your friends bringing? Tools and equipment that can be shared doesn't need to be duplicated. Who has the easiest transport system? So some people are set up to easily transport their Cricut or their Silhouette or, you know, their Sizzix or whatever they're bringing. So if you touch base with your friends or your table mates your scrap pals, who's bringing what, and maybe you have different cartridges or different dies that you want to bring, but somebody else is bringing the equipment. So that's the first thing you want to do to be productive is touch base with your friends. What are they bringing? And then what tools can be left at home and used to finish up projects? So if you've taken the time to do your cataloging of stamps and punches and those kind of things, you don't need to actually bring those with you unless you know specifically which one you're going to use. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get into what your project choice is. But since you have the examples of those things with you, you don't necessarily need to haul everything along. When you get home, you can finish up the project with whatever's there. And then also, how many hours will you be cropping, shopping, dining, sleeping, whatever it is, right? Especially if you're going with a group of friends, you know, what are they thinking of doing? You know, what are their goals and what is the plan? So if you all are on the same page with, yes, we're going to shop all day on Saturday, we're going to go out to eat Saturday night, and then there's a couple scrapbook stores that we want to visit. If you're all on the same page with that in advance, then you won't be taking too much stuff, and you'll be prepared to be successful with what you are. So, you know, what are your friends or crop pals' plans, and how do those affect you, and will you be participating in all the things that they're doing? So, and that kind of goes back to, is this a social event for you, or is it a productivity event, or 50-50, or whatever? Step 2, make those decisions. Are you going to crop for photo-based or for project-based? So if you're actually doing scrapbook pages, you need different things than if you're doing projects while you're there. And so this kind of goes back to what I was just talking about with the punches. So if your goal at this event is to make all of your Christmas cards, then you already have your Christmas card designed, and you already know what punches you might need or what Cricut cartridge you might need. That's a project-based event, and so you're going to be able to actually pull those things and take them with you because they're a limited number of things. You're already laid out and ready to go. And then, of course, you want to have those things with you so that you can finish your project versus doing something that's photo-based or page layout-based where you're not quite sure what stamps or what punches you're going to use. And so you don't want to haul a bunch of unnecessary things with you. And once you decide what you're going to use, then you can go through that project or those pages and really figure out what tools and what other accessories you need. So if you're doing something that's project-based, you may need different things like spray adhesives, or if you're doing cards, you're going to need those card blanks. And then if you're doing actually scrapbook pages, that's when you're going to pull your, choose the photos that you're going to take, because your photos are all neat and organized and ready to go. Pull that memorabilia together so you can really stay focused on what you're going to do. Now, one of the other important things here is that if you are doing scrapbook pages, photo-based stuff, and you're worried that, oh, if I might get I'm going to work on Christmas pictures, and I might get all those Christmas pictures done, then what am I going to do? Then I'm going to advise you that your backup project is in the same theme group as your main project. So if you're going to work on Christmas from 2010, you might think that you're going to get it all done. You might also, did you hear that little chuckle there? I always think that I'm going to get more done than I actually do. Then you might take your Christmas 2009 or 2011 photos and memorabilia as well, and just kind of set them aside. So if you do finish the 2010 project, you've got all your Christmas stuff with you, you could start working on that 2009 and 2000 or 2011 pictures, however that's going to work out. But you don't want to take all your Christmas stuff and then also think that if you finish Christmas, you're going to work on sports stuff and then have to take all your sports stuff as well. So one of the things that happens is we get in this mindset of how we plan on doing something, like my plan is to do my 2010 Christmas and then I'm going to work on the kids' sports pages. And so it's hard for us to sort of break that and say, no, that's really not the best choice right now. I should probably work on 2009 Christmas or 2011 Christmas. So if you kind of just think through those projects that you want to work on, and then when you take your extra stuff, if it can be within that same theme, you're going to be able to move forward with that as well. So I hope that makes sense. I'm sort of rambling on about it. So you don't need to take everything you own. Stick to subjects. Stick with sticky notes. So make sure you take sticky notes with you when you go, so that if you are going to add, if you're not going to take your stamps and your punches, you can actually take a little sticky note and put it on the layout or the project that you're working on that says what stamp or what punch is going to go there. So when you go home, it's easy to finish up that project. So, and you can even use a sticky, like if you punch out, if you have the little punch examples of whatever punches you have, let's say you're working on Christmas and this is a little pine tree punch that you wanted to use on this page, you can actually use the sticky note and stick the pine tree punch, onto the page using the sticky note, and then write the little note there so it's easy to remember what's going on. But the sticky notes will really help you finish up when you get home. So the next thing is to gather those supplies together. So if you've completed all the previous steps of the challenge, this should be really easy. You'll be able to pull together the right themes or colors in just a few minutes. If you haven't completed the challenge, you may have to hunt through your stuff for the things you need, but once you've gathered everything, you can integrate it into your 4-section system, so you'll be moving forward with organizing. I'm going to pause for a drink here. Sorry about that. So what this means is that even if you're going to work on Christmas but you don't have all your Christmas stuff together already, then now's the time to go through your room or space and pull all that Christmas stuff that hasn't made it into your 4-section system, and then use it at the Cropper event, and then when you get home, you're able to put it back into your 4-section system. So that's sort of that working as you go or organizing as you go concept. And then step 4 is pack it up. And really important, the most important thing about packing up is that you pack in reverse. So think about how you're going to arrange yourself at the crop. Lay out a packing table the same way you would lay out clothes when you're packing for a trip. So everything that's going to go together, and how, when you're going to pull it out of your tote, how are you going to set it up? So you don't want to pull everything out and stack it all on top of each other and then have to constantly move things around so you can get organized. If you can pack your tote so that you're going to pull out the things that you need first. So I know some people take those little folding shelving units or those kind of things. Those need to be on the top of your tote, so you can take those out and then take out the next thing and set it on the shelf or whatever, rather than having the shelf at the bottom, pulling everything out, and then resetting up. I hope that makes sense. Excuse me. Keep an empty paper storage box just for going to crops. It makes it easy to pack up the papers you need. So if you're a paper junkie and you have an empty paper storage box, if you're going to work on Christmas, you can take your Christmas papers out of your holiday and seasons box and put them right into your paper storage box, take it to the crop, and then when you come home, just take the papers out of the box and the empty, or what would be the empty box, and put them right back with the rest of your holiday and season papers in your paper storage box. So if you're a junkie and you have a lot of paper junkie and you have a lot of paper, keeping that empty paper storage box to go with you to the crops is a great way to do it. The nice thing about a paper storage box at a crop is if you have it on the table, if you set a pile of paper on the table, you're taking up a square foot of space on the table. If you take a paper storage box, there's 2 options for it. One, you can set it on the table and you're only taking up 3 inches by 12 inches, so a lot less space. It's easy to thumb through the box and see, look at all the papers that you've got. The other nice thing about a paper storage box is that you can actually set it on the floor under the table and still be able to reach down and thumb through the paper and pull out what you need. So it doesn't even have to be on your workspace, which is fairly limited at a crop, and it can still be really accessible right next to you on the floor, but it's staying clean and neat and all of those things as well. So taking an empty paper storage box is a great way to go. So what do I use is the normal question. I'm a minimalist. I try to limit myself to just one tote. So paper can be taken in paper storage box or in supersized single pockets. So when we went through the paper organizing webinar, we talked about putting themes of paper into the supersized single pockets. So in the side pocket of my tote, so this is a tote from Office Depot. Many of you have already seen it on the website or whatever, but it's about $22 at Office Depot. It's just one of those collapsible file crates, and then it has our little apron around it, and this is an old one, so it's not as pretty as the new ones. And then so I just put the paper pockets the supersized singles in the side. And then when I get to the crop, I tuck that flap in on the that's open there in the right side picture. And then I can reach in and pull out whatever paper pocket I want to work with at that moment. Or I'm not a real true paper junkie, but you could do the same thing with a paper storage box if you're taking a lot more paper. But that side pocket for me holds quite a bit. And then you can see I just have the sections of my scrap rack just standing up inside the tote. So if you are using the tote and the scrap rack, it makes it really easy to you just take your spinders off your scrap rack and stand them up. And then all my basic tools around the outside there, all the basic things that I need. So in this tote, I'm probably looking at about 5 spinders. So depending on how many days I'm going and what I'm working on, I might take all 7, I might take 5, or I might just take 1 or 2 or even 3. So the nice thing about it is you don't have to take your entire scrap rack of stuff. You can just take the spinders that you need and stand them up in there, and then you still have room inside that tote for other things that you want to take. So again, if it's a paper storage box or whatever it is. If you are not using a scrap rack and you've gone with binders or with Ziploc bags or with file folders or anything like that, you're still going to pack it up the same way. Now, the nice thing about the spinders with the dividers is that they're kind of like books and they stand up on their own. But if you've got Ziploc bags or file folders or something like that, then you might want to take a couple of empty paper storage boxes and put them inside your tote, and then you can put those Ziploc bags or those file folders inside the paper storage box, and that'll keep them standing upright and nice and neat. So if you use those paper storage boxes almost as a divider system inside your tote, it'll make it really simple for taking, like I said, other things besides spinders in there and keeping them segmented. And you can pull the box out and set it, next to your chair or whatever, or you can pull all the boxes out, put the lid on, and then set those boxes up on the lid of your tote. And so that way, again, your products are staying nice and neat and organized and accessible and just kind of standing straight up on the tote. I hope that makes sense for everybody. I don't have an image of that. So here's what it looks like if you're at a crop setup. Now, in this picture, I actually have an entire 7 spinders on the scrap rack. They're kind of fully loaded up with me. But that puts everything really accessible. So at chair height, whether you have a scrap rack sitting on top of that tote or whether you have those boxes that are organizing your supplies, everything's really accessible and it's not all over your table. So it makes it really easy to actually get to things quickly. Okay, so this week's challenge is to set a goal. What do you want to accomplish at the crop? Get lots of pages down, visit with friends, learn 10 new techniques, whatever it is. What's your goal? Then find a tote you want to use for going to crop, exclusively for crops if possible. So there are some things that you're going to always keep in your crop tote. Some people have 2 different paper trimmers or different scissors or whatever. So if you have specific crop tools, if you have a specific crop tote, those can always go there, and then you don't have to worry about tracking them down when you're ready to go. Create a packing list of crop must-haves, and these are the things that you'll take every time. Spend some time thinking about how to pack these items and how they'll be used. Keep the list in your tote so you can use it every time you crop. And a pause for another drink there. If you find that there are things you always take but never use, cross them off the list. So even if you take that list and just put it in the page protector or something initially, and then once you go to a couple of events, you can write down the things you wish you had brought right on the list and update it when you get home, and you can cross off the things you brought that you never use, or things that someone else almost always has that you don't need to bring yours anymore. So, but it's really important that that list is just always stays in the tote, because if it's easy, you'll use it, and if it's difficult, you won't. So if you take that list this first time and add things to it and cross things off, the next crop you go to, you'll be able to pull that list off and read the things you wish you had and eliminate the things that you didn't have. So it makes it really simple. And then decide how much you want to do in an hour and add 20% to that amount just in case you're able to skip eating and sleeping. This should include the number of pages or quantity of products you can accomplish, cards, mini albums, etc. And use this list as your guide for packing to go to an actual crop. So again, it's just a goal that you can write down so that you can stay focused. So when you do go to a crop, you're not taking way more stuff or not enough stuff. And the other thing is you can include this, how much you can do in an hour, right on your crop packing list, again, so it's right there and available to you. You know, you can even keep track of what you've done in the past, so you have some real data. That sounds a little bit technical, I guess, for a crop, but on what you really get done and what you enjoyed most about it. You know, you can even write notes on your packing list each time about, I wish I would have allowed more time for shopping, or allowed less time for shopping, or whatever it is. So the next time you go to an event, you're not relying on your memory for what you would have liked to have or done in that time period. So pretty simple stuff. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and open up the question panel. So if you have questions about going to a crop or other things, now is your chance to ask those questions. Not that we're unavailable. We're always available on Facebook and via email and all those good things. So so Beverly's online. Congratulations, Beverly. You're so welcome. She says, woohoo, woohoo. Thank you so much. You're totally welcome. Sandra says, how long will the webinar recordings be posted on the ScrapRack webpage? I'd like to rewatch these over the summer as I continue organizing. And they'll probably be up all summer because the next challenge doesn't actually start until September. So generally we leave up the last challenge until the new challenge starts. So you've got all summer, and then once the new challenge starts, we'll repost them in order as well. So, and if you're somebody who wants to download them and have them on your iPhone or your iPad or your Android or whatever, so that you can watch them while you're waiting for your kids to do soccer practice or whatever, they are available. I think they're all posted on the website now that you can download whichever ones you want to have. I think they're $1.99 to download them and keep them forever. So if that's something you need or want, they are available. Catherine says, should stamps, small acrylic ones, be kept separately? I would say that you have to keep your acrylic stamps separate from your wood block stamps, but you can keep all of your acrylic stamps together, and I tend to group them by size just because it's easier. I mean, mine are all in ScrapRack pages, so I'm able to fill in those pocket pages pretty efficiently by grouping them by size. You could also be using, you know, the CD cases or whatever to store those acrylic stamps. So I would say yes, keep unmounted stamps together and by size. Yar says just a quick hello. Hello, Yar, and happy summer to you too. We don't have summer yet in Washington. It's only 59 degrees here, but we're expecting it tomorrow afternoon or Thursday morning. So we're hoping for a little bit of sunshine towards the end of the week. Ann says, thanks for leaving them up. This is my first to attend. Well, you're so welcome. And you're all welcome to sign up again for the fall challenge. So if it helps you to be participating in the live things, everybody's welcome to sign up for that, you know, as often as you want. We've got people who have joined us on through many rounds. Barbara says, bringing that whole ScrapRack to crop looks too heavy and the same to me as bringing too much. Do those come apart as you can bring, say, a specific theme and maybe a couple of rainbow colors? Absolutely. That's one of the nice things about actually traveling with the ScrapRack. So if you're going to you just take your base unit, and if you're working on Christmas, you have all your Christmas stuff on one spinder, you bring that spinder, and then you might have 2 rainbow spinders, and so those go in, and so you just go to the crop with the 3. So when you saw the big one that I had set up with all 7 spinders, that was for like a week-long event where I was leaving that set up at that event. So I brought more stuff than I normally would. But Barb, you're absolutely right. You want to take the least amount of stuff with you for lots of reasons. 1, the distraction factor. 2, it's heavy and to haul all that stuff around, and you want to just be the most efficient. So yes, absolutely, you can just take 1, 2, 3 spinders, however many you need with you. Brenda says, thank you so much for adding these webinars to YouTube. I watch them whenever I have time, I think. Whenever I'm organizing and repeatedly. Sorry, push the enter button too soon. No problem. So yeah, you can watch them on YouTube also. We do take them down on YouTube after a while as well, but then the new ones go up, and then you can watch them on the website too. Candy says, I'm really looking forward to working in your booth this weekend in Duluth. Can't wait to meet you, Tiff. I can't wait to meet you too, and I'm so glad that you're available to help us. That's going to be a lot of fun. Denise says, Tiffany, I'd love to see an example of a packing list. Is there one posted somewhere? No, but I could probably wrangle mine up and clean it up a little bit and get it up there. Or if somebody has taken a previous challenge and you have your packing list for your crop, if you can post that up on the Facebook page, that would be great. Kay says, it's been 105 degrees in Atlanta. Feels like 115 per the Weather Channel. Just FYI. I know I love the heat. My children think that I'm part lizard because I just love it. I just love to be uncomfortably hot. So hopefully I'll get that in Atlanta. If it's 105, I absolutely will get that. I love that feeling of just being hit when you walk outside with that hot air. I love it. Let's see. Ann says, do you have all the items in stock now so I could order a complete set? We will have our container arrive this afternoon, any minute actually. It should be pulling in to the warehouse. So for all of you who have been so patient waiting for our new products to arrive, everything is available to order now on the website, and it should all be arriving this afternoon, and we have extra people standing by. So once it gets here, we'll be able to start unloading and packing all at the same time. And as you can imagine, we have tons of back orders, but we're hoping to start shipping today and finish up by close of business on Thursday. So if you've been waiting for an order, hopefully it'll be off our dock by Thursday of this week. So maybe Friday, but we're going to do our best. Lori Ann says, I'm using 3-ring binders. They stand up all in a small space on a crop table. So perfect, Lori. So, and even if you're using those 3-ring binders, that big tote from Office Depot is great for those too, because it's not a compartmentalized space, so you're not limited by what you can put in them. So some of the bags and totes and stuff are kind of segmented off in different sizes, and so you've got some limitations about what you can take. But that tote from Office Depot, I don't get any kickback from Office Depot, just so y'all know. I don't get any residual from the sales on those. I just love it. It's just so easy to work with and so visible. Okay, says you're coming to Expo. Yes, I'm coming. Francie says, thanks so much. I'm going to a weekend crop next weekend, and these suggestions are so timely and so needed. I love the list idea. I will get a special notebook and keep it with my travel tote. The ScrapRack is awesome, and you guys are smart ladies. Thank you for sharing with the rest of us. Thank you, Francie. Thank you for saying that, and you're so welcome. It's actually the thing that I enjoy most about my whole job is sharing information. Tina says, how do you keep from bringing your whole rainbow of colors when working on an album and do not know what colors you want to use yet, especially when it is a variety of subjects in the album? You may have to take your whole rainbow, Tina, and just depending on how much stuff you've got in that rainbow, it may be 2, 3, 4 binders, so you may have to take it all. But this is where a little bit of page planning might be really helpful as well, so that you can, put things together in like all in a supersized single page, or the new page planner page, which is arriving today. You can group all your pages in there, and then you end up taking what you want for the page. Now, the biggest challenge that we have when we go to crops is that we're scared that we're not going to have everything, and so we take everything. But you can, if you remember, as you pack up for this crop and you do the main bulk of the work on your page, if you all of a sudden think, boy, this really needs a blue flower and I didn't bring anything blue, when you put a little sticky note on there that says, hey, look at blue flowers, that would be nice in this corner or whatever, and then when you get home you can finish that up. So just depending on how long you're going and how much you want to get done, you may want to take your whole rainbow section. If it's just a 2 or 3 hour crop, it might behoove you to actually page plan and do the bulk of the colors and stuff that you need, and then put the finishing touches on it when you get home. Lori Ann says, nice to meet you in Chantilly. I feel a bit silly. I think I was starstruck, and I fell in love with the ScrapRack on display. I sent all my scrapping colleagues over to your booth. Well, I'm delighted that you were starstruck and that the ScrapRack, you really saw the value of it and that you were enamored with it. It works so well. I really try not to make the webinars infomercial for the ScrapRack, but it's just so efficient. when you're really working with it. So thank you for coming by the booth and for sharing it with your friends. I'm glad that they were all able to follow you over, Lorianne. We appreciate that. Denise says, do you know if you will be in the Denver show in October yet? We have not been given any notice on the Denver show just yet. I got notice on the, there was another show that we were thinking of being attending in August, and I just got the call on that like 2 days ago that they would have space available for that show, and we're not going to do it anyway because I've never taken a month off in the summer from traveling, and so I'm going to take August off. We're not going to do any shows in August, so we won't be doing that one. So what I guess my point is, I'll know about the Denver show probably in August because it's about 2 months at the earliest. And what has to happen for us to get into the Denver show is somebody who's currently booked into the Denver show has to cancel. And if they cancel, then they'll call us and offer us that space. So we will be there if we can be there, Denise. All right, so it looks like that's the last question in the line here. So thank you all for participating in the webinar challenge, and I hope that you'll join me on Tuesday for the first version of digital organization. And I do have to confess, it's the first time I've taught that, so I'm not really promoting it as a big event because I want to get in and get my feet wet and see what kind of questions you all have so that I can do another one that really addresses the questions that come up in the first one as well. So for those of you who have been with me for a while, if you want to join us for that one, and then it'll give me an opportunity to sort of practice on you, that would be awesome. So there's one more little post that popped up from Elise. Great to meet you in Chantilly. Love, love, love my new ScrapRack. Thank you for a great webinar series. You are all so welcome. Thank you so much for participating. Feel free to share the fall challenge that's coming up, back to school, back to scrapping, with any of your scrap pals. And I hope that I'll see quite a few of you there. Oh, one more post from Brenna. Cataloging stamps. I have a few sheets of acrylic stamps that are mixed themes, letters, Easter eggs, thank you, creepy tree, Merry Christmas, wedding bells, birthday candles, graduation cap. What do you suggest with those? So when you say that, I'm assuming that it's like a whole set of stamps. Really simple. Give that acrylic page a number, and those and then so each of the individual stamps, the creepy tree is going to go in, Halloween, and the Merry Christmas in Christmas, and then just write, put the impression in your catalog, and then just write, what are you going to call it, acrylic stamp page number 5, and then you'll know exactly where to go to find that stamp. So you don't have to worry about grouping the stamps together by theme or event. You just have to tag the image in your catalog with where you can actually find the stamp in your system. Amy Gibbons says, have a happy and safe 4th of July. Same to all of you. Have a wonderful Independence Day. I hope the weather is nice and wonderful for everybody, that it cools down on the East Coast and warms up for us here in the Northwest. Kim says, how long before this will be on the website? I had to miss most of it due to a business call. And we start the process of downloading it, the recording right away, and then sometimes it gets up within an hour or two. Sometimes it takes a little longer than that. So I will try to get it up, by later this afternoon. So just depends how long the download actually takes. Yar says, in my stamp themes I have animals, dogs, bear, etc. Then I have aquatic, fish, mermaids. Then I have beach. Am I dividing them too much? I would say your fish and your mermaids could definitely go in beach, and then the other stuff could go in animals. But remember, the most important thing is that it works for your brain. So if your brain is not going to look in beach when you need mermaids or fish, then you need to keep that aquatic section. It's always better if you can group things by major categories, because then you're going to see more. So maybe even having the beach or things that swim or whatever within the beach section, that might be helpful. But if you're working on beach and you have those mermaids and those fish under aquatic, you might not think to go look there. But if you're working in beach, they might be appropriate. So if they're in there, or at least a representation of those things is in there, then you'll see them and you'll actually get a little bit more use out of them. Kay says, what's the name of the fall series called again? It's called Back to School, Back to Scrappin', and it's on the website already. So if you go when you go log into the website, it's right here on the upper left side, 2012 Back to School, Back to Scrapping, Get Organized Challenge. So if you want to sign up for that, you can just click on it and sign up for the fall series. Deanna says, will you be offering any more evening classes during the day? It's hard for those of us who work. Yes. The winter challenge will probably be an evening challenge. The reason I didn't book the fall challenge as an evening challenge, you're going to laugh at me for this, is because I didn't have my kids' sports schedule. So last year I the same team played as his school football team, so I had to rush home. They play in the afternoon. He's in middle school, so it's not like the Friday Night Lights program. But so I had to go to games on Tuesdays and then rush home, and so I didn't want to get stuck doing that again, and I didn't have a football schedule. But now I'll have all the school schedules. So the winter challenge will probably be in the evening so that I can attend sports because I'll know what's going on. So sorry. Wholly doing the fall in the daytime is wholly what is it called? Selfish on my part because I didn't want to miss football. Kim says, great, thanks. And Barbara says, other than the 2 webinars mentioned, will you do others? Yes. So kind of some exciting news for me is that I'm working, hopefully, taking on some business partners to actually pick up some pieces of the business side of business that I do now, so that I do have more time to develop more webinars and more products. So I really want to focus on product development and organization education. So hopefully, as the year rolls on, if things work out and I'm able to sort of firm up this partnership, I'll have more time to develop product and develop organization education programs, and so then I'll be able to do more. And I'm really hoping to be able to venture into home organization and office organization and those kind of things and be able to teach on those levels as well. So keep your fingers crossed that everything goes well for me in the middle of the month, and then I'm able to get some partners that can pick up the side of the business that's not fun for me. It's fun for me to teach and fun for me to develop products and fun for me to talk to people and get their ideas and turn them into something that's real. So that's my goal here. So, all right, ladies, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I will get the video uploaded as soon as I can, and then we will start. Laura says, oh, good, I need those webinars too. So I'll get that up and posted, and then we're going to start shipping this afternoon. So again, thanks for your patience, those of you who are waiting for product to be delivered, and we're going to start getting that out the door for you. So have a great summer, a great 4th of July. Hopefully a lot of you will join me for the digital challenge that's going to be next week at the same time. And feel free, like I said, to sign up for the fall challenge. All right, take care, ladies.